Hello everyone, this is Madhavi Karmudi, Assistant Professor in CSE Department. In this lecture, I will talk about arrays in C language. First of all, see what is an array, what is the need of the array, and then we will see how to declare the array and how to store the values into the array and various categories of the arrays. Okay. First of all, array means it is a collection of similar type of data elements, and all these data elements will be stored in the continuous memory locations. Okay. What is the meaning of this statement is, just assume one scenario. Suppose I want to do one program. In that program, I need to store some values. Okay, just assume that I want to store 10 values or 100 values. So for storing 100 values, I need to take 100 variables. In all those 100 variables, I need to store these 100 values, right? So instead of taking 100 variables, if you have one mechanism to store all these 100 variables at one place, then that will be a better one. So that is the reason why here the arrays concept came into the picture. So here, instead of creating multiple elements of same type, by using this array, we can store all these multiple elements with single name itself. If you store all multiple elements, all those elements will store in the continuous memory locations. Okay. In C language, arrays are also called as derived data type. Why it is called as derived data types is, in C language we have some predefined primitive data types like integer, character, double, and floating point values. If you can declare any variable of that particular type, in that variable we can store only the type of data, right? So here in arrays are derived data types. So it can hold collection of primitive type of data elements, such as you can store either integer values, or you can store character values, or you can store double values, or you can store floating point values. Okay, but the array holds all the elements are of similar type. Okay, if you are declaring the declaring the array for storing integer type, so in that array, you can store only integers. If you want to create an array for storing characters, in the entire array, we can store only characters. You should not store any other variables or any other values, right? Now see, if all the elements are having same name, then how to access those elements? So in the case of array, if you want to access the individual value, then that can be accessed by using the index of the array, or we can also call it as subscript of the array. So individual value of the element or value of the array is called as element. So if you want to access the individual element, that can be accessed by using the index value or by using subscript value. Okay, so this index or subscript or the integer values. So always in the C language, the array indexes starts from the 0. Generally, we'll think that the array indexes will start from 1. But that is wrong. In the case of C language, array indexes starts from the 0. Let us see how to represent the array, how the array looks like in the memory. This is the just representation of the array in the memory. So here I have an array of size 5. That means I can store only 5 elements in that array. So all that 5 elements, if you observe, all these are the continuous memory locations. So all the elements will be stored in the continuous memory locations. And each and every location is having some address. Okay, so that address we are calling it as a index. So here every memory location is referenced by using index, and first location or first element of the array is referenced with 0th index. Second element will be referenced with at index 1. Third element will be there at index 2. Fourth element will be there at index 3. And fifth element will be there at index 4. So from this diagram, what we can understand here is, if the array indexes starts from 0, if your array size is 5, the fifth element will be there at index 4. Okay. Suppose if your array size is n, if your array index starts from 0, where the last element will be available in the array? In the n-1 index position, right? So now see what are the different categories of the array. So we can use these arrays to represent not only simple list of elements, we can also represent the table of data in 2 or 3 or more dimensions. Okay, so in the previous example, we have seen one array with the list of elements, right? So array is not restricted for storing only single list of elements. We can also use this array for representing table kind of information. If the table contains 2 dimensions, 2 rows and rows and columns, or if your table contains multiple dimensions, then that kind of data also we can represent it by using arrays. So for representing table kind of information, here we can use various categories of arrays. These are the various types of the arrays: one-dimensional array, two-dimensional array, multi-dimensional array. Okay, so in our lecture, in this lecture, we will completely concentrate on one-dimensional array. In next lecture, we'll see about what is two-dimensional array and what is multi-dimensional array. Okay, let us see how to declare the array in C language. This is simple example. So here I want to store some integer numbers. Okay, so I am declaring the array name as number and array type as int. So if I declare like this, if I write the statement like this, int number of 35, what is the meaning of the statement is, here there is an array with the name number of type integer. In this array, I can store 35 elements. Now see the second statement, char ch of 10. What is the meaning of this statement is, an array of characters I am storing in the name array, in the name of the array as character ch. In that I am storing 10 elements. Okay. So see the one-dimensional array, what is meant by one-dimensional array and how to insert the elements into the one-dimensional array. What is the structure of the one-dimensional array? Okay. Suppose if your array contains only one subscript value or one index value, then that kind of array is called as one-dimensional array. Let us see, the one-dimensional array will be looks like this. Okay, here this is 0th index, first index, second index, third index, and fourth index. So here if you see, we have only one index or one subscript. So this array we are calling it as a one-dimensional array. Let us see how to declare the one-dimensional array. So for declaring the one-dimensional array, how we will declare the variables in C language? In the same way we will declare the arrays also, but with some size. Variable can hold only one value. Here the array holds multiple values. That is only the difference. Now see the declaration of the one-dimensional array. Here data type. This data type indicates that what type of data you are going to store in that array, and name of the array. This name of the array is user defined name. Here you can give any valid identifier name. Okay. So while choosing the names of the arrays, you should be very careful. You should not use any keyword as a variable, any keyword as a array name. And always your array name starts with the character. It should not start with the digit or any special character. Okay. And one more important thing is, you should not leave space between the array names also. Okay. So by following these rules, if we can choose any name for writing the array. So here name of the array, this name is user defined name, and within the square brackets, here this square brackets indicates the dimensions. Suppose if it is a one-dimensional array, there will be only one set of square brackets. Here inside this square bracket, we need to specify the size of your array. Okay, let us see the example declaration statement. So here I am declaring int num in the square bracket 35. So the meaning of this statement is, here the data type of this array is integer and name of the array is number, and your data type number is holding 35 elements. Okay. Now see next statement, char ch of 10. So here the array is of type character and the name of the array is ch, and the size of that ch character array is 10 elements. Okay. Now see how to, after declaring the array, the next step is we need to store the elements in the array. Let us see how to store the elements in the array, or we can also call it as how to initialize the elements in the array. So here we can initialize the array just like a variable in two ways. One way is by directly assigning the values by using assignment operator, or second way is you can also take the values, or you can also assign the values to the array at the time of execution, taking the values from the user. So these are the two ways we have to initialize the array. One is at the time, compile time, we can initialize the values, or at the run time, we can initialize the value. At the time of compilation means at the time of program writing itself, you can specify the values by using curly braces. Or at the time of execution, if you want to store the values by taking it from the user, you can do it, right? So these are the two ways for initializing the array. Let us see the first way, how to initialize by using compile time initialization. See, the syntax for initialization statement is here also same, just like a variable initialization statement. Data type, name of the array, and the size of the array, and the initialization will be done by using the equal to operator, assignment operator. So assignment operator, and whatever values you want to supply, you just write those values in the curly braces. Okay, and each and every value should be separated with comma. See the example here. Here I am declaring the array with the name mark. Okay, so here I am not specifying the size of the array. I am declaring my array is of type integer. That means that in my mark array, I can store only integers. But here I am not defining the size. Even if you are not defining the size also, how many elements you are initializing by using assignment operator, based upon that automatically it will calculate the size. Okay, so here in this example, I am initializing 5 characters, 5 integers. So automatically this marks array size will be calculated as, will be considered as 5. Okay, now see how this marks array will be stored in the memory. See, this is the memory representation of that array. So marks of 0. So what is the 0th position element? What is the first, first element you want to store? So always the array index starts from 0. So first location is marks of 0, second location is mark of 1, third location mark of 2, fourth location mark of 3, last index is mark of 4. Right? Now first element you want to store it as 19. So first index means that is 0th index will be filled with 19. Now second element will be filled in the in second position. Second position is identified by first index, right? Now third element is 8. 8 I am storing at index 2, and 17 I am storing at index 3, and this 9 will be stored at index 4, right? So this is the way to initialize the array at the time of compilation. Now see one more example. Here I am taking the character type array. The name of the character array is name. Okay, so here here I am storing, here also same, here I am not initializing the size. So in the initialization statements, how many characters you are storing, based upon that it will decides the size. So here always your character array ends with the null symbol, that is /0, right? So here I am storing my elements of the character array is M, A, D, H, A, V, I. So this is the these are the elements of the character array. So this is the way to assign the values for the array at the time of compilation using assignment statement. Okay, let us see. Suppose instead of assigning the values using assignment operator in the program itself, now I want to take those values from the user at the time of execution, and I want to store those elements in the array. So in that case, what we need to do is, so each and every position at the time of executing execution, if you want to take the values from the user, one by one we need to take, and first we need to take first value, Then we need to store that value in the first 0th index. Then we need to take the second value, store that second value in the first index. Then third value and in third position. Fourth value, fourth position. Fifth value in fifth position at index 4. We need to store. So like that we need to store. Okay. So here each and every time we need to store only one element in the array. Right. So first of all we need to take one for loop for moving till the end of the array, and every time the value will be incremented and every time the value will be stored in the array by using this statement. Okay, first by using the scanf statement, we will take the integer value ampersand value of I, that indicates that wherever the current pointer index is pointing, in that position that value will be placed. So initially I am setting I value as 0. Okay, that means at index 0, that means scanf %d ampersand value of 0. That means whatever value the user is entering first time, that value will be stored at index 0. Now I value will be incremented by 1. I becomes 1. Now that I value, the ampersand value of 1, at index value of 1, the second value will be stored. Now I value will be incremented by 2. At value of second index, the third element will be stored. Like this, the loop will be repeated until the end of the array. So this is the way to initialize the array by taking the values from the user at the time of execution. Okay, so these are the two ways to initialize the arrays, using compile time and using runtime. Now see the next one. Suppose if you want to retrieve the element from the array, or if you want to print the elements of the array. So in that case, how to do it is, if you want to access the elements of the array, or if you want to retrieve the elements from the array, we need to access it by using the index only, or we need to access it by using subscript only. Index we are also called as subscript. Okay, suppose if you want to retrieve 19, we don't know where the 19 is stored. Okay, that is the reason why for recognizing this 19, we need to use the index. Okay, by using this index, we can refer this element. So marks of 0 refers to 19. Mark of 1 refers to 10. Mark of 2 refers to 8. Okay, let us see how to access the elements. This is the way to access the element. This is the syntax. Name of the array, and within the square brackets, you have to specify the index. Suppose I want to access mark of 0th index. So this mark of 0th index value is 19. So 19 will be accessed. Suppose I want to access mark of 4. So what is the mark of 4? Mark of 4 index value is 9. So that 9 will be referenced. Okay. Suppose if your array size is 10. Okay. So always the array index starts from 0. Okay. Now at which position the last 10th element will be available? At index mark of 9. Right. Now see, suppose if the size of an array is n, to access the last element, n minus 1 index we need to use. Right. So in this example, our array size is 5. To access the last element, we need to take n minus 1 index. That is 5 minus 1 index. 5 minus 1 means 4. So for mark of 4 we need to take. So this is the way to access the elements in the array. Let us see one simple example, how to create the array, how to store the elements into the array, okay, and how to print the elements into the onto the screen. Just to see this simple example. With this example, I will conclude the session. So first I need to include the library files. Then execution starts from the main method. Inside the main method, I am taking one array. Array name is S, and the array type is integer, right? Here my array size is 5. That indicates that only 5 elements I can store it. So here I am using compile time initialization. So I am initializing the values here itself by using assignment operator. So if you are assigning multiple values, each and every value will be separated with comma, right? And those set of values we need to write inside the curly braces, right? Index should be specified in square brackets. values will be assigned to the array using curly braces, right? Now here I am taking one variable I for moving from moving to the one position to another position in the array, just for moving purpose. So here I just want to print the message like student marks details. Now I want to print all these elements. Okay. So how to print that all those elements? First I need to move to the 0th position. Then I need to access that 0th position element. Now I need to move to the next position. I need to access that next position element. I need to move to the next position. Then I need to print that next position element. Right? So in that way we need to move. So for moving one position to another position, here I am taking the for loop. Initially I need to start from the 0th index. So I am initializing I value as 0. So this loop will continue till the less than 5. Why? Because our list is having 5 elements. 5th element will be available at index 4 only. So that is the reason why this I value will be continued till less than 5, not equal to 5, less than 5. Right? So each and every time once that value is printed, we need to increment the I value. First I value is 0. Now I am printing 0th index value. Okay. S of 0. Okay. So S of 0 will be printed on the screen. Just for knowing the position of the element, here I am using I plus 1. S of 0 means first position element value, right? So S of I plus 1, first position element is S of I. S of I is 0. S of 0 is 89. 89 will be printed on the screen. Now I value will be incremented by 1. Okay, S of 1 means 76. 76 will be printed on the screen. S of I value will be incremented by 2. Okay, S of 2, 92 will be printed on the screen. Like that, the list will be continuous. Now we'll reach to the last element. I becomes 5. Okay, 5 less than 5. Condition fail. Then we'll not enter into this loop. We'll come out of the for loop. So after coming out, we'll just return the value and we are closing the main method. Let us see the execution process of this program. I have just copied this program in the online editor itself. Same program. Just to see the output of this program. So first, before seeing the output, first compile this program. Okay, so here I am compiling the program. So if there are no errors, it will display the output. Let us see S1. Okay, S1 means 0th index element is 89. S2, first index element 76. Second index element, third index element 98. Next element 91, next element 84. So like this we can print the values of the array. So this is about one-dimensional array. So in this session we have discussed about what is one-dimensional array, how to declare the one-dimensional array, and how to initialize the one-dimensional array, and how to access the elements from the one-dimensional array. And with example program also we have seen. So in next session, we'll discuss about multi-dimensional array. Okay. So thank you one and all.